The void of space stretched endlessly, silent and cold. Stars flickered like distant candles, but their light did nothing to warm the alien armada drifting through the darkness. The fleet was vast, thousands of warships, each one built to crush worlds, each one a fortress of steel and energy. Commander Thalrex stood on the bridge of the flagship Kryn's Wrath, his eyes scanning the endless expanse. For centuries, his species had conquered, destroyed, and dominated. Fear was a word they had long abandoned. But today there was a tension he could not ignore. "Report," Thalrex demanded, his voice low and commanding. His mandibles clicked, betraying a restless anticipation. "Commander," the communications officer began, her tone unusually hesitant. "Our scouts have detected a human vessel approaching the Draxion sector. It is unusual. Its energy signature is precise, stable." "Almost confident," Thalrex frowned. "Confident? How can a human ship, one vessel, project confidence across light years? Humans are small, fragile. They are meant to be insignificant." Yet, deep inside, he felt a flicker of unease, the first in his long career. He waved his clawed hand toward the massive fleet behind him. "Prepare for engagement. Position all units. Do not underestimate them. Humans are unpredictable, and unpredictability can be dangerous." The alien officers moved with precision, their tentacles and limbs adjusting controls, scanning star systems, running calculations, and still, Thalrex's mind could not shake the sense that something was different about this one ship. This single human vessel gliding toward them like a lone star. Across the void, the human warship SS Valor cut through the darkness with quiet grace. Its hull gleamed faintly, reflecting starlight in soft lines that seemed almost delicate compared to the monstrous alien ships. On the bridge, Captain Elena Marlowe studied the alien fleet with calm intensity. Her crew, humans of varying ranks and experience, waited silently, every eye fixed on the blinking sensors and holographic displays. "Elena," the tactical officer said, her voice tight, "there are thousands of their ships. If they attack, we won't survive a minute." Captain Marlowe's eyes softened, but her voice carried the weight of quiet confidence. "We may be outnumbered," she said, "but we are not powerless. Hold your positions, let them come. We will show them what humans are capable of." The crew felt the tension in her words, but also a strange reassurance. There was courage in her calmness, a strength that did not need to shout. And somehow, even across the void, that courage seemed to radiate like a shield around the Valor. Back aboard the alien flagship, the first scout ships began transmitting images of the approaching vessel. Officers crowded around their screens, tentacles trembling as the sensors revealed a ship unlike anything they had cataloged. It was smaller than their warships, yet its hull shimmered with energy patterns that seemed alive. Its engines pulsed with precision. Its shields, though invisible, radiated an unyielding strength. "Commander," an officer stammered, It's just one ship. How can a single human vessel project such presence?" Thalrex's mandibles clicked nervously. He had never seen fear in his officers, yet now he felt a strange chill run through the bridge. "Focus," he barked. "It is just a ship. We are the Armada. Prepare to engage." But even as he spoke, the alien crew hesitated. Something about the human ship defied logic. Their calculations predicted fragility. Their tactics expected panic. And yet, the Valor moved steadily, without hesitation, without aggression, but also without fear. Time seemed to stretch. Sensors measured energy output, weapon strength, shield capacity, but none of it explained the feeling rippling through every officer aboard the alien ships. A sense of something greater than technology, something not calculable or predictable. Captain Marlowe watched the alien vessels on her screens. She could see their confidence, their pride, their expectation of victory, and she knew that humans did not win by numbers alone. Humans won with courage, with unity, and with the refusal to be intimidated. The void between the fleets felt alive, charged with anticipation. Thousands of alien warships, masters of destruction, drifted closer, unaware that their own fear had begun to stir. and one small human warship glided forward, silent and unwavering, ready to challenge everything the aliens thought they knew about power. For the first time in centuries, a shadow of doubt fell across the alien armada, and for the first time Commander Thalrex wondered if their entire understanding of war, of strength, and of victory would be shattered by something smaller, something seemingly fragile but infinitely more dangerous: the human spirit. The alien armada drifted closer, their massive silhouettes blotting out the faint glimmer of distant stars. Energy fields hummed along the hulls, engines pulsed with power, and weapon batteries charged with deadly precision. Thousands of ships moved as one, a dark mountain stretching across the void. But even as the alien commanders prepared for engagement, an unfamiliar unease had begun to spread through their fleet. Captain Marlowe stood on the bridge of the SS Valor, her eyes locked on the vast alien armada. She could feel the weight of their numbers pressing across the emptiness of space, but she did not falter. "All units," she ordered calmly, "maintain formation. Shields at full capacity. Weapons ready, but do not fire unless I give the order." Her crew moved like clockwork, following her every instruction. There was fear, yes, but also a deep determination. Every human on board knew that this was not just a battle of weapons, but a test of will. The first signals crackled across space, messages sent through alien channels in rapid, precise bursts. Thalrex's voice boomed in the flagship. "Focus! Prepare to fire! Do not let them survive even one volley. They will fall as all prey does." Yet as the alien fleet closed in, something unexpected happened. The human ship did not retreat. It did not fire a warning shot. It glided forward, calm and unyielding, like a single star refusing to be extinguished by a storm. Its shields shimmered faintly, reflecting alien energy scans back at them. It was a silent defiance, a statement that the humans had not come to beg or hide. They had come to stand. Then, a voice echoed across the comms channels, breaking the tension. Clear, calm, and precise. "This is Captain Elena Marlowe of the United Earth Fleet. You are entering human territory. We do not wish to fight unless provoked. Turn back now or face the consequences." The alien officers froze. This was not a threat. This was not aggression. This was confidence, a confidence they had never seen. Not in one human, not in one ship, and yet it radiated across space like a pulse that they could feel in their circuits, in their senses, even in their bones. Thalrex bared his mandibles, a gesture that humans would call a frown. What is this?" he demanded. "Do they even understand fear? Or do they not care?" The humans did care. They cared deeply. But they were not afraid. That was the difference. Fear had never been an enemy for the aliens. They crushed it out of existence in their prey. But here it was alien to them, and it was spreading like wildfire through their ranks. Sensors detected the human ship activating its energy field. It was not a weapon, yet it was a display of power beyond the alien imagination. Shields shimmered in patterns no one could calculate, and the field seemed to anticipate movement before it happened. Small alien ships trembled as they tried to match the invisible energy, engines faltering for the first time in centuries. Thalrex slammed a clawed hand onto the console, his frustration palpable. "Engage! Fire everything! Do not let this human defy us!" Yet nothing happened. The fleet hesitated. One by one, weapons powered down, engines hesitated, and the armada slowed. The humans had not yet attacked, and already the alien fleet was faltering. A junior officer whispered, her voice trembling. "Commander, they are just one ship. How is this possible? Why do we hesitate?" Thalrex's eyes narrowed. His pride, the very essence of his species' might, quivered. "Silence!" he barked. "Focus on the humans. Analyze, scan, predict, calculate." But it was no use. The Valor moved slightly, a subtle shift that sent ripples of unease across the alien formation. It was not aggressive, not offensive, yet its movement carried authority, certainty, and unshakable courage. The aliens sensed it instinctively. Numbers and firepower no longer mattered. Presence mattered. Will mattered. And the humans had it in full measure. The alien officers felt their circuits stutter, their instincts scream. They had studied strategy, perfected battle algorithms, mastered the art of intimidation. And yet nothing in their history could prepare them for this. One small human ship radiating strength they could not quantify, a courage they could not suppress, a will they could not break. Captain Marlowe did not speak again. She did not need to. Her silence was louder than any weapon, clearer than any threat. Every human on the bridge felt it. The moment had arrived. The moment when numbers did not matter. When technology alone could not decide the outcome. When courage was more powerful than fear. And for the first time in the long history of the alien armada, every commander felt it too. The faint, terrible, and undeniable stirrings of fear. The alien armada hung in the void like a shadow that had lost its shape. The Kryn's wrath and its thousands of warships were built to crush entire planets, yet now they trembled in uncertainty. Engines stuttered, shields pulsed irregularly. Weapon systems designed to annihilate worlds faltered as if sensing something that defied reason. Thalrex's mandibles clicked in frustration. "Report," he demanded. His voice, usually full of authority, now trembled slightly. "Why are our systems failing? Why are our weapons misfiring?" The communications officer hesitated, her tentacles shaking as she pressed commands. "Commander, we are detecting anomalies. The human ship's presence, its energy field, it's affecting us. Sensors are unstable. Engines are slowing. We cannot predict their next move." The words hung in the air like a dark cloud. Uncertainty was alien to the Armada. They had never faced an enemy they could not calculate. And yet here it was. One human ship, small and fragile, had thrown their entire fleet into disarray. Across the bridge, a young officer whispered almost to herself, "It's just one ship." "Why? Why does it feel like it's everywhere at once?" Thalrex bared his mandibles in a gesture of anger and fear. "Focus," he roared. "Do not let them intimidate us. Fire on my command." But no one moved. The fleets of skilled warriors trained to follow orders without hesitation were frozen. The Valor did not fire a weapon. It did not make a single aggressive move, and yet its presence was more terrifying than any bombardment. It radiated calm certainty and unbreakable will, an invisible force the aliens could neither ignore nor counter. On the human ship, Captain Marlowe observed the Armada with quiet focus. She could see the tremors of doubt rippling through their formation, the hesitation in their sensors, the stuttering of their engines. She knew this was the moment humans had always relied on. Courage. Not technology, not numbers, but courage that refused to bow to fear. "Maintain formation," she said softly. "Do not fire unless necessary. Let them reveal their fear themselves," and reveal it they did. Alien commanders across the Armada began transmitting confused reports. "Our weapons are misfiring," one officer admitted. "Our shields are unstable. They are affecting us without firing. It is impossible." Thalrex slammed a claw onto the console, frustration and fear warping his normally precise movements. "Impossible. Nothing is impossible. These humans cannot challenge us. They are insignificant." But the longer they hesitated, the more the fear spread. Ships that were once the pride of their species now drifted like lost predators, unable to act, unable to strike. Even Thalrex felt it in the deepest part of his mind. Dread. Not for himself, but for the pride of his Armada, for the certainty of domination that had defined his life. One smaller scout vessel edged too close to the human ship, curious and defiant. Its sensors were overwhelmed. The data returned was incomprehensible. Shields bending, energy flows shifting, movement patterns anticipating attack before it even happened. The scout trembled, engines faltering, and transmitted a single word repeatedly. Fear. It was not a warning. It was a recognition. The alien fleet, 1,000 strong, were beginning to feel something they had never known. Fear was alien to them, but humans could inspire it without even lifting a weapon. Thalrex roared. the sound vibrating through his massive flagship. "Engage, fire everything. Crush it before it." His words died in the silence. The fleet did not move. They could not. It was as if the very presence of the human vessel had frozen them, a mirror of calm and certainty against which all their power seemed meaningless. The Valor drifted forward, engines humming softly, shields shimmering faintly. It did not attack, but it radiated authority. Every alien officer watching felt it instinctively, a presence that challenged not just their tactics, but their understanding of war itself. For centuries, the Armada had known only control. Planets fell before them, systems bowed. Life itself was a resource to be conquered. And now, one small human vessel, unarmed in appearance and unmoving in aggression, had shattered that certainty. The alien commanders whispered among themselves, their voices trembling. Do they even understand fear? Or do they harness it differently? Thalrex's eyes narrowed. He could no longer rely on strength or numbers. He could only watch as his pride, his fleet, and everything he had built hesitated before one human ship. And a strange, unbidden thought crossed his mind. Perhaps this species was more than they had ever imagined. Across the void, the human crew felt it too. The first taste of victory, without a shot fired. Courage had become a weapon, presence had become a shield, and the galaxy, vast and unyielding, was beginning to notice. The alien Armada, masters of war for countless cycles, drifted frozen in space, and the humans, small and seemingly fragile, held the power not through destruction, but through fearlessness. The first seed of change had been planted. The alien Armada drifted through the void, frozen not by commands, but by something they had never encountered in all their centuries of war. Awe. Commander Thalrex's mandibles clicked nervously as he peered through the viewports at the distant human ship. The SS Valor was small, fragile-looking even by human standards, yet it radiated a presence that shook every officer aboard the flagship. "Bring the scouts closer," Thalrex ordered, his voice trembling despite the roar of engines around him. "I want to see it with my own eyes." A dozen scout ships edged forward, their sensors bristling with calculations, energy scans, and weapon analyses, and then the first images returned. Screens across the Armada filled with the holographic representation of the human warship. Silence fell. Even Thalrex, seasoned commander of countless campaigns, felt his circuits stutter. The ship was unlike anything they had ever catalogued. Its hull was sleek, elegant, almost organic in design, but hardened in ways their sensors could not fully comprehend. Its energy field shimmered faintly, flowing in patterns that seemed alive, adjusting instantly to every scan the aliens attempted. It's just one ship," a junior officer whispered, his voice shaking. How can it be like this?" "It's perfect, unstoppable." Thalrex bared his mandibles, a mix of fear and disbelief twisting his usually precise movements. "Impossible. One ship cannot hold against our fleet." And yet the longer he looked, the more the truth became undeniable. The human vessel did not need weapons to command respect. It did not need to fire a single shot to project authority. Every alien officer watching felt the weight of its presence, a strange gravity that anchored fear in their minds, and hesitation in their engines. The scout ships returned continuous streams of data, hull strength far beyond predictions, energy fields that adapted faster than any known algorithm, and a subtle, almost imperceptible aura that seemed to anticipate threats before they arose. One officer's voice broke through the comms. "Commander, they are not just strong. They understand war differently. They fight with courage, with will, with something we cannot measure." The Armada shuddered. Ships built to survive supernovae now quivered as they approached the human warship. For the first time, alien pride faltered. The centuries of conquest, the knowledge that their species was unmatched, suddenly felt fragile. On the bridge of the SS Valor, Captain Elena Marlowe watched the alien fleet with quiet calculation. She could see the unease spreading through their formation, the hesitation in their weapon systems, the stuttering of engines as if the alien ships themselves were questioning their own existence. She did not speak. She did not need to. Her presence alone, calm and unwavering, carried authority stronger than any fleet. A scout vessel tried to edge closer, desperate to understand how one human ship could command such fear. Its sensors probed every inch of the Valor, yet the data returned was paradoxical. Hull density fluctuated, shields shifted unpredictably, energy readings defied logic. Every officer aboard the alien ship felt it. A force not in magnitude but in certainty. The humans did not hesitate. They did not falter. They were resolute, and in that they were terrifying. Thalrex clenched his claws. This cannot be. One ship, one human vessel. Against our entire armada, it is unacceptable. But even as he spoke, he sensed it. The fleet's hesitation had become a wave of fear. Junior officers whispered among themselves, tentacles shaking, their usual arrogance replaced with awe and panic. They are not like anything we've faced. They are fearless. The Valor shifted slightly in space, a subtle adjustment of trajectory that should have been insignificant. Yet the ripple of movement through the alien sensors felt like a thunderclap. The fleet flinched as one, engines faltering, weapon systems stuttering, and for the first time, the aliens understood what humans could do without firing a single shot. They could command respect, instill fear, and change the course of a battle with presence alone. Thalrex stared at the image of the human ship on his screens. 1,000 cycles of experience, countless victories, and all the might of the Armada could not prepare him for this. One ship had frozen an entire fleet, not by weapons, not by strategy, but by sheer will. The first whispers began to spread across the alien fleet. "Do they even feel fear?" one officer asked. "Or is there courage? Something else entirely?" For the first time in history, the Armada faced the impossible. The humans were small, fragile, outnumbered, and yet they were unstoppable. The SS Valor was more than a ship. It was a statement, a warning, a symbol. And in that first glimpse, Thalrex realized that the galaxy had changed forever. The alien Armada hung frozen in the void, a vast mountain of steel and energy paralyzed by something it had never faced. Doubt. Thousands of warships built to conquer entire star systems drifted in silent uncertainty. Sensors buzzed with warnings, engines sputtered in hesitation, and weapon systems wavered. For the first time, fear had entered the hearts of the invincible. Commander Thalrex's mandibles clicked sharply as he surveyed the fleet. His claws gripped the console, knuckles white with tension. "Why are we not advancing? Why do our systems hesitate?" he demanded. His voice echoed across the bridge, but no answer came fast enough. Even his own officers were frozen, their movements uncertain. A scout officer transmitted frantically, her voice trembling. "Commander, we cannot read them. One ship, one human vessel, it is, everywhere at once. It anticipates our movements, predicts our energy pulses. Our weapons cannot match it. Our fleet is slowing." Thalrex's mandibles snapped in frustration. "Impossible," he roared. "We are the Armada. Nothing can withstand our might. Focus, I command you, engage." But the fleet did not respond. Every ship, from the smallest fighter to the largest dreadnought, seemed frozen in awe and fear. The humans had not fired a shot. They had not made a single aggressive move. And yet, the entire Armada quivered in the presence of one vessel. Across the void, the SS Valor drifted with quiet precision. Captain Elena Marlowe watched the alien fleet on her screens. She could see the hesitation spreading like wildfire, the faltering energy pulses, the confused calculations. Every alien commander's instinct screamed to attack, but their will was broken, not by weapons but by the unwavering confidence of a single human ship. "Hold formation," she said softly to her crew. "Let them feel themselves falter, Courage is stronger than fear when you use it wisely. Back on the alien flagship, murmurs spread among the officers. How can one ship so small stop us? Whispered one almost to himself. Another added, It is not their weapons. It is something else, a force we cannot understand. Thalrex slammed a clawed hand onto the console. Analyze it. Predict it. Destroy it. Do something! But nothing worked. The more the Armada tried to assert dominance, the more they faltered. Energy shields fluctuated. Engines surged, then slowed. Calculations failed. And all the while the human ship glided forward, calm, steady, unbroken. It did not threaten. It did not scream power. It simply existed. And that was enough to bend the Armada to its will. A small group of alien vessels tried to move closer, braving the unknown. Their sensors strained against the human ship's adaptive energy fields. Reports flooded in. Weapons misaligned, shields unstable, engines overheating. Panic rose like a tide among the smaller ships. Commander, one officer whispered almost inaudibly, They are fearless. They are not calculating. They are perfect in their resolve. Thalrex's eyes narrowed, his mind racing. He had commanded hundreds of battles, crushed entire civilizations, and yet now he felt powerless. One human ship had frozen an Armada. One human ship had made him question everything he knew about war, strength, and victory. On the bridge of the Valor, Captain Marlowe glanced at her crew. Remember this moment, she said softly. We are not just a ship. We are the human spirit. Fear has no place here. Stand firm, and they will see it. And the alien commanders did see it. For the first time, they realized that courage was a weapon far stronger than lasers, shields, or fleets. Their pride, their arrogance, their centuries of conquest all faltered before the calm determination of one small vessel. Thalrex finally spoke, his voice low and bitter. Retreat. Fall back. Regroup. We must reconsider everything. One ship, one human, has shown us what we cannot destroy. A ripple of disbelief ran through the fleet. The Armada, masters of war for millennia, began a slow, reluctant retreat. Even as they pulled back, the memory of the human ship's presence lingered, a shadow of fear and awe that would haunt their systems forever. Captain Marlowe watched silently as the alien Armada drifted away. No shots were fired. No victories were claimed. And yet a triumph had been won. One human ship, against thousands of alien vessels, had proven that courage, resolve, and the refusal to yield could command the galaxy itself. For the first time, the galaxy took notice. Humans were not merely a young species to be conquered. They were a force of will. A species that could inspire fear without ever firing a shot. And the SS Valor, small and unassuming, had become a symbol of everything the aliens had underestimated. Humanity itself. The standoff was over, but the war for respect had just begun. And somewhere deep in the void, the alien commanders would never forget the day a single human warship froze an entire armada. The alien armada drifted in uneasy silence, engines humming faintly, shields flickering, and weapon systems idle. For the first time in millennia, the fleet's commanders felt uncertainty gnaw at them. Fear was no longer just a concept. It was a tangible presence, radiating from one human ship that refused to fight in the conventional sense. Commander Thalrex paced across the bridge of the Kryn's Wrath, mandibles clicking as he processed the impossible. They are not afraid, he muttered. One ship, one human, and yet they stand unshaken. How can this be? The officers surrounding him whispered among themselves. It is not their firepower, said one. They are something else. We cannot predict them. Our systems cannot counter their will, another added. They fight with courage, with confidence, with purpose, not like us, not like any species we have ever faced. Even the youngest officer, a trainee only a few cycles in the fleet, dared to speak. Commander, perhaps they are stronger than we imagined, not in weapons but in spirit. Thalrex's mandibles twitched. The word spirit was foreign, uncomfortable. It had no place in tactical calculations, no meaning in war strategy, and yet he could feel it in every sensor, every fluctuation, every pause in the alien fleet. The humans had introduced a variable no one could measure: courage. On the SS Valor, Captain Marlowe watched the alien fleet slowly shift. Hesitation spread like a wave. Faltering engines and uneven weapon charges betraying the inner turmoil of the Armada. She felt the moment as clearly as if it were a heartbeat. The aliens were beginning to understand that humans were not like any enemy they had known. "Signal them," she said quietly. "Let them see that we do not seek unnecessary conflict." A calm, steady transmission left the human ship. "This is Captain Elena Marlowe of the United Earth Fleet. We do not wish to harm you. You may retreat safely. But know this: humans will stand firm when threatened, and we do not yield." The message echoed across the Armada, reaching thousands of alien officers. The words were simple, but the meaning struck deep. It was not a threat. It was not arrogance. It was certainty, honesty, and courage combined. And it pierced through the pride of every officer aboard the Armada, leaving them questioning everything they believed about power. One officer, trembling, transmitted a private report to Thalrex. They do not strike. They do not hide. Yet our fleet falters. Their courage, it dominates us without fire. Thalrex closed his eyes, trying to steady himself. All his life he had relied on superior numbers, advanced technology, and precise strategy. And yet here it was, a species that did not fear, a species that did not retreat, a species that had exposed the limits of the Armada. He realized something crucial. Humans were not just another species to conquer. They were unpredictable, unbreakable, and relentless in ways the Armada could neither calculate nor suppress. And the more he watched, the more he understood. Fear alone could not describe the sensation. Respect, awe, recognition of strength, where strength was measured not by destruction, but by courage. On the Valor, the crew sensed the shift. The alien fleet, once a monolithic force, was now hesitant, questioning, faltering. And the humans did not press the advantage. They remained calm, steady, demonstrating that power could be commanded through courage and resolve, not just weapons. Thalrex addressed his officers, his voice lower, more measured than before. "We have underestimated them. They are not just one ship. They are a species unlike any we have faced. Retreat, regroup, analyze, understand. We cannot fight them as we would any other enemy." The Armada began a slow, deliberate withdrawal, engines aligning for a calculated retreat. But the fear and awe remained. Even as they moved back, every officer knew they had witnessed something extraordinary. Humans were capable of shaping the outcome of a battle without striking a single blow. Captain Marlowe exhaled quietly. "We have not destroyed them," she said, "but we have shown them who we are. One day they may remember this moment, and it will change how they see humans forever." In the Armada, whispers spread among the fleet. A single human ship froze thousands of vessels. Their courage, it is unmatched. And in the emptiness of space, one truth became clear to every officer aboard the alien Armada. Humans fought differently. They did not need to be the strongest, the largest, or the most heavily armed. They needed only to stand firm, and their spirit became more powerful than any weapon. The first lesson had been learned, and the galaxy, vast and indifferent, had begun to take notice. The alien Armada slowly drifted away, the vast mountain of warships now scattered and uncertain. Engines hummed unevenly, shields flickered, and the once commanding fleet carried a new weight, the memory of what they had faced. One human ship, small and seemingly fragile, had frozen them all. One ship had rewritten the rules of war without firing a single shot. Commander Thalrex's mandibles clicked sharply as he stared at the receding human vessel. Pride, anger, and disbelief collided inside him. How How can one vessel, one species, command the galaxy like this? He muttered almost to himself. He had lived centuries commanding fleets that crushed worlds. He had never known fear, not until now. Not until humans' officers whispered among themselves, voices trembling with awe. They did not fight, and yet we faltered. Another added, we underestimated them, and it nearly cost us everything. Even the youngest crew members, fresh from the training chambers, felt a strange reverence. Humans had shown them something the Armada had never experienced. Courage as a weapon, will as a shield, and presence as a force stronger than any fleet. On the SS Valor, Captain Elena Marlowe stood quietly on the bridge, watching the alien ships retreat into the distance. Her crew looked to her with quiet pride, a mixture of relief and exhilaration. We did not fire a single shot, she said softly, and yet we made them rethink everything they know about power. One young officer on the human ship laughed quietly, almost in disbelief. We survived, against all odds. Not just survived, Marlowe replied, her voice steady. We reminded them what humans are capable of. Strength is not just in weapons or numbers. It's in courage, unity, and the refusal to yield. That is a power no one can calculate. The alien Armada, meanwhile, was in chaos. Thalrex had ordered a retreat, but the fleet's confidence had been shattered. Systems analysts and battle strategists struggled to reconcile their instruments with what they had experienced. Reports poured in from all across the fleet. Weapons misaligned, shields unstable, engines fluctuating. And the message was clear. Humans were not merely strong. Humans were unpredictable, unyielding, and fearless. In the quiet corners of the alien ships, whispers spread like wildfire. They did not even attack, one officer said, voice trembling. And yet, we could not fight them. How is that possible? Another whispered, they have spirit, something we cannot destroy, something we cannot understand. Thalrex clenched his claws tightly, staring at the last dots of light representing the Valor. For the first time, he felt something he could not control. Respect. Respect for a species he had assumed would be weak, insignificant, and easy to conquer. Humans were none of those things. They were dangerous, not in the way of weapons, but in the way they carried themselves, in the way they faced fear and refused to yield. As the Armada disappeared into the darkness of space, the alien commanders silently vowed to return to study and perhaps to understand. But they knew deep inside that humans had already changed the galaxy. One small ship, piloted by one human captain, had frozen an entire Armada and forced them to confront a truth they could not ignore. Courage could conquer fear, even in the hearts of the invincible. On the Valor, Captain Marlowe turned to her crew, her face calm but proud. This day will be remembered, she said, not because we destroyed them, not because we won a battle, but because we showed them what humans are made of. One ship, one species, one stand. That is enough to change the course of history. The crew nodded, hearts swelling with pride. They had faced the impossible, and had done it not with overwhelming force, but with courage, discipline, and an unwavering spirit. And in that, they had done something far more powerful than destroying fleets. They had earned respect. Somewhere across the galaxy, in the hearts of alien commanders, the memory of the SS Valor would linger forever. A single ship had frozen thousands. A single species had forced the galaxy to reconsider what power truly meant. And though the aliens would recover, regroup, and plan, they could never erase what they had felt. Fear, awe, and respect for humans, a species that refused to bow to numbers, weapons, or destiny itself. Captain Marlowe watched the stars ahead, calm and determined. We do not seek war, she said softly, but we will always stand. And one day the galaxy will remember us, not for fear but for courage. The SS Valor glided silently through the endless darkness, a small beacon of hope, strength, and humanity. And in that silence the galaxy understood something new. Sometimes all it takes is one small ship and one courageous crew to change the course of history forever.